guys, I'm working on my latest pattern here. It is called Field of Pumpkins Quilt, but I wanted to show how to make the 8 at a time half square triangles really fast, because each pattern I'm trying to kind of write up a different method of construction so that I'm teaching the basics along with my patterns. And I use the 8 at a time half square triangles for this, as well as 4 at a time and 2 at a time. So I wanted to show it on video because I know for a lot of people it can be very tricky. So here's what I have up on my design wall, and then I also have the sweater quilt on the left here. I wanted this size, the design wall, for this precise reason, because I can work on 2 quilts at once. I have that first row to the left, and then I have the Field of Pumpkins quilt on the right. So I have about 5 more pumpkins to make, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do that with my 8 at a time method. All right, first I am going to go ahead and start with my squares. So I have a square here. Doesn't matter what size you're using, whatever size you're going to use, it's all the same with the 8 at a time method. And so I press instead of drawing just because it's faster. So let's go ahead and get that done. I use my Aliso Pro. It is an extremely good iron because it just heats up fast. It also stays together for 30 minutes, like it'll stay hot, so I don't have to keep turning it off and on. So I press corner to corner both ways here. You can also draw aligned if you want, but I just prefer to press because it is faster. The other thing I love about the Aliso is that I don't have to pick it up. It is automatic and just pops up. It's not like this, so that's a lot of metal to be exposed for my 4 kids. So I've gone ahead and I've pressed it corner to corner. With the 8 at a time method, you're actually going to sew on either side of these lines 1/4 inch. So I'm going to layer this over the star fabric on both sides. I'm going to sew corner to corner. When I cut it, I'm going to cut on the diagonals, the actual pressed line, and then I'm going to cut horizontal, and I'm going to cut vertical, and that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will work for directional fabric. When you are using the 4 at a time method, that is actually cut on the bias. That will not work for directional fabric. So just keep that in mind when you are making the quick method half square triangles. All right, so I have my fabric. I'm going to go ahead and lay it over. So I only press one of them because that's all you really need to do. I will match it up, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew 1/4 inch on either side. All right, so you can see I have my 1/4 inch foot lined up on the line, and then I just sew. I've sewn on both sides 1/4 inch, then I just rotate it and do the same thing to the other side. All right, this is what it looks like when you are done. You have this double line of stitching, and then you can still see the press line. So I'm going to cut corner to corner on the press line, horizontal, and then vertical as well. All right, so here is the ruler. I'm just going to go ahead and line it up corner to corner in between. And then I don't move my block. I just keep it the same, like this. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it this way. And in order to make sure I have points, I'm going to get it right here. Let me zoom in. You see the points here and here. You want to make sure your ruler is going through those. Then I'm going to take my ruler and turn it. I'm careful again not to move the block at all. And then I'm going to go through And look at these points as well. Right here. Line it up and go through them. All right, so I am done cutting it, and then I will show you. See, I just have it separate there, and I had to recut this because I had messed up a bit. There we go. So I have 8 half square triangles now. It is a super fast way to get it. And then I'm going to go ahead and square these how I prefer, which is with the clearly slatted trimmer. And then that's it. I am ready to go ahead and sew. So my pattern currently utilizes this method. It is super fast. And if you have a lot of repeat colors you want to do, it works for any size. All right, so now I'm going to do the 4 at a time half square triangle method. And this one is constructed a little bit different. So for me, it doesn't matter in this block that I'm making because I'm actually using non-directional fabric. So it doesn't really matter which way that they go. And it is cut on the bias when you do the 4 at a time method because I'm going to be cutting like this. So you have to be gentle with it. You don't want it to stretch out too much. With the 4 at a time method, you're going to sew 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and then you're going to cut corner to corner, and that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4. So all I do is set my needle 1/4 of an inch, and then I continue to sew all the way around. Now I have it sewn all the way around. It's closed completely, and I'll go ahead to go and take it to the cutting table and cut it. All right, here we are at the cutting table. I'm gonna line up my ruler and do corner to corner. I'm gonna make sure that I am going through each part that is sewn and then just cut. Okay, then I'm gonna take my ruler and turn it and then go this side again, corner to corner, and then I'm going to go ahead and just pull it apart, and there are the 4. So it'll be the same. I'm going to go ahead and square them, and then I will press them open. So what I use to square is the clearly slotted perfect triangle ruler. This ruler has many different sizes on it, and it squares before you press them open. So you're just going to line it up with whatever seam size or size that your half square triangle is going to be. You line up the seam, and then you're going to trim all the extra. It has these slots on the side, so that way you can go ahead and cut off the dog ears. When I first started sewing, I never knew with half square triangles, do you cut them off or do you not? You do want to cut these off. They're called the dog ears, and that is because it reduces bulk and makes them a precise square. A lot of questions I get are, do you square all your pieces? Yes, because I used to resist it for a long time, but if you want your corners, your points to meet up exactly, it is necessary, because even when your 1/4 inch is consistent, it's hard to get it quite exact. Most patterns will also give you a little bit extra, so that way you can trim, because it's just considered a part of standard quilt practice. So often the size in the pattern won't be the size that you need, so you'll need to trim them up. In this pattern, the Field of Pumpkins quilt, I have done the same, because if people do end up having a little bit wonky 1/4 inch, or it's not exact, you still have room to fudge it, and that's why I have gone ahead and sized up. It's just a little bit easier, and again, you'll have that room to trim, so if you make a mistake, it's not gonna ruin the entire block. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these pressed and trimmed, and then I will show you what they look like in the end.